and today I'm going to show you how to make mini cinnamon rolls. Sometimes we get those big honkin' cinnamon rolls, but sometimes you need to feed an army. So I'm going to show you a simple way to make homemade cinnamon rolls and make them little mini size. So let's get started. Now the ingredients that you need for your cinnamon mini rolls, first of all you need some yeast. Now I use the instant active dry yeast. If you buy it in bulk you need 3 teaspoons, but if you're just buying it in the packages it just is 1 package. You need 2 tablespoons of oil, 1 teaspoon of salt, 2 3/4 cup of flour, all-purpose flour, 1 or 2 tablespoons of sugar depending on how sweet you want your dough. That's our yeast dough. Now to make it the cinnamon rolls, we're going to use cinnamon sugar, which is a mixture of sugar and cinnamon. So it's 3/4 cup of sugar and about 1 tablespoon of cinnamon, and then a stick of butter. And then we are going to show you how to make this incredible dough. All right, I have 1 cup of warm water, not boiling water. You don't want to burn or heat the yeast too much. You're going to take 3 teaspoons or 1 packet of instant dry yeast, and instead of dumping it, my Italian grandmother, who used to spend the summers with us, would just drizzle it, as she called it, dancing on top of the water. So you're just going to scatter it like it's raining on top of the water. And then it will start to do its work when you take about a pinch of sugar and scatter that on top. And if you can see that, you can see that the yeast is already starting to work. Now, she told me don't put a spoon in there, especially a metal spoon, and she even said don't use a metal bowl. Nothing to disrupt. She said just to swirl it to get it all mixed together so it looks like a muddy water. And once you have that, then you're ready to pour it into your flour mixture. Okay. Now while that yeast is getting all mixed in, I'm going to toss in my salt and just add that. And while I have this, I'm going to take my spoon and create a well. And then I'm going to pour in my muddy water, which is the active yeast. And then I'm going to gently, eventually you're going to be kneading this, so it does take some roughness eventually, but at the beginning you want to be a little careful because you don't want to disrupt that yeast too much. Now this recipe is going to make about 24 mini cinnamon rolls, perfect for like a breakfast or a luncheon or a brunch. All right, and while it's getting mixed in, I'm going to add my 2 tablespoons of oil. And because I'm not doing a pizza dough, but I'm doing a cinnamon roll, I'm going to add a little bit more sugar to give it a sweeter dough. Not too much because I don't want to weigh down the dough. Okay, I'm going to mix this all together. Then I'm going to cover it and put it in a warm area. Sometimes people put it in their oven, but don't turn the oven on. Or someplace high where the heat rises. And you're going to cover it for about an hour and a half till it rises. And then we're going to roll it out to make mini cinnamon rolls. Our dough is done. You can tell that it has risen about double the size of when it started. This took about an hour and a half because I did use the instant. And I'm just going to take some flour and dust my countertop. If you have a wooden board, that's fine. And you're just going to dump your dough out here and just bring it out. You want to get it pretty long because you want to make minis. If you're going to make larger ones, then you want the dough to roll about 3 or 4 times. But with a mini dough, you want it to. And it doesn't have to be perfect because no one's going to see this part. That's the funnest part. Okay. If your hands start getting sticky, just get some more flour on it. It won't make the dough any floury. It will just, and I just want to make sure it's not going to stick. Okay. Now this is kind of the messy part, but that's okay. We're going to use our hands to get some butter on here. Now I want to show you that I have buttered a pan, and I actually, what I do is I actually sprinkle some cinnamon sugar on so that the bottom of the cinnamon rolls have some cinnamon sugar on it as well. Okay. Now I preheated my oven at 350 degrees, and on a mini cinnamon rolls, you definitely want to watch to make sure that it doesn't over brown. So I'm probably going to leave it in for about 20 minutes. So I'm going to take my stick of butter, and I could roll that out a little bit longer, and even once it's got the butter. Now, it's okay. I know you're saying, oh my gosh, that's so much butter, but we're going to get quite a few minis out of here. If you have any butter left over, you can use that for your topping. All right, now always keep a towel next to you because you are going to need to clean your hands. All right, this is where you sprinkle the cinnamon sugar. There's two ways to do this. You could just sprinkle sugar first and then sprinkle some cinnamon on, but I like to make the cinnamon sugar ahead of time and put it in a jar and then sprinkle it. All right, now this is where you're going to roll it up. Just going to take it like this and roll. Now some people proof the dough again, but you know, my grandma who taught me, she did this a million times. She just put them in the oven. So this is where you want to get a pizza cutter or a knife, and you want to just start making little pieces. Because you're making little minis, probably about an inch thick. And you're just going to start laying them in your pan like this, pretty close to each other. All right, I'm going to finish putting these all together and show you what it looks like before it goes into the oven. Our cinnamon rolls are ready to go into the oven. I'm going to bake them for 20 minutes. Take a look. Every oven is different. You want to see them a little golden brown, but not too brown, because you want to get that moisture to stay in there so they're nice and soft and moist. I'll show you what they look like when they come out. Our mini cinnamon rolls are out of the oven. Don't those look amazing? This made 24 mini cinnamon rolls. Now if you want to put a topping on it, there's a lot of different ones. I'm making a glaze that has some powdered sugar, milk, vanilla, and a little bit of butter just to give it a glaze. You can do a cream cheese glaze, and you're just gonna basically drizzle this over the top. Yummy! Now, of course, these are the best served right out of the oven. So try to plan your party or your breakfast or your brunch accordingly because they're nice and moist. Now, when I knew they were done, I touched them, and if it came back to me, it meant that they were done. All right, there you go. Hey, thanks for joining us today. I hope you make this recipe. Make sure you stay sweet and simple, and we will see you next time.